they're killing what they've been told to kill.
Infidels.
Infidels. It's not a sin. It's encouraged. It's actually like a pat on the back. Good job. Even though this is a time for reflection and peace, you killed some infidels.
I want to play a clip before we go to break and then come back and go through all the details of this and talk about more targets. But let's play this imam. This is in Orlando. This is up on Infowars.com, DroneReport.com as well. Tim Kennedy's here with us. Iman, speaking in Orlando, said gays must be killed out of compassion. Here's that clip.
Death is the sentence. I mean, look, there's nothing to be embarrassed about this. That death is the sentence. But we have to have that compassion for people. With homosexuals, the same. Out of compassion, let's get rid of him now.
Out of compassion, we kill him. He's so slimy, too, so creepy. I don't want that guy anywhere near my daughters.
I don't want the guy on the face of the planet. Not near my
But that's because you're a homophobe. You don't want him to kill the gays, so you're the bad one. See, that's what I don't get. The left hates us because we don't want to kill them.
I want to save them. You know, this is your chance. You know, if you're part of the LGBT community, rally together and realize this is going to be the fight for your life. Not against conservatives, not against the GOP, against radical Islam.
Absolutely right. Just come on, people. Come up for oxygen. We'll be right back. All right, I'm going to try to slow down here and go over everything with Tim Kennedy. He's riding shotgun with us at the bottom of the next hour, maybe longer. We're going to have Rob Dew from Europe over there covering Bilderberg, the very group that opened the borders, destabilized the Middle East, brought in the Islamists. This is part of an admitted destabilization program. Tim Kennedy's been here 3 times last month, warning of exactly this. In fact, tomorrow we'll have more of the crew in to actually go get those clips with all these predictions now coming true. So during that 3-minute break, we covered a lot of key stuff that should be on air. Let's start with the nature of the targets they hit, the frequency getting faster, the attacks being more intense. The FBI, we know, was ordered to San Bernardino to stand down, to not go after these folks 2 years before. Same thing with this guy. So Tim Kennedy, I know you can't get into classified stuff, but you do anti-terrorism stuff, not just overseas, but obviously domestically. We'll just leave it at that. With your best expertise there probably is out there, let's walk through why they hit this target, what's coming next.
You know, first, we're looking at who they're going after. They're going after somebody that was fundamentally against their religion. That was the lesbian, gay, transvestite community. They're like, we don't like them. We're looking for any way to kill somebody that doesn't align with us, our theology.
And groveling to them didn't mean anything.
Nope. Even though the LGBT community has been supporting the Muslim call for the racism and the prejudice, like, hey, we have a similar cause. It's not the case. They specifically targeted you, and they're going to continue to do that just like they were in LA. So first was who they were going after. It was the LGBT. Second was the location. It's a soft target. They're cowards. They are complete, gutless, impotent worms. And they're never going to go after you. They're not going to go after me. You know, we're here in Texas, right? We have our houses that have elements of security that we're not going to talk about. They're going to a place that no guns are allowed. They know that at a bar in the United States, a business that primarily sells alcohol, you're not allowed to have a firearm. So it is a gun-free zone. That's what Pulse is.
And he was a registered Democrat with a New York firearms license as a security guard. So he went through all the hoops.
Yep, he followed the law perfectly.
They want to pass more laws.
No, they don't follow the law. He broke the law by going to a nightclub with a gun where there were no other guns to stop him. What stopped the guy with the gun? Dudes with guns.
In outside Dallas and Garland. Keep going.
And same here. The way that we stopped this shooter was we shot him. He was going to keep shooting people. It wouldn't have been 50. It wouldn't have been 100. It would have been 200 or 300 had he not had a bullet go through his body.
This guy is such a demon. So continuing, getting into the, you heard me list those cities they say are the next targets, what's being deployed.
So fortunately, they're not the smartest people. When they're recruited, ISIS is recruiting the weak, the unintelligent, the impoverished, the people that they can actually plant seeds in fertile soil that they can try to convert into radical Islam. And so the level of sophistication, so this guy had a bomb vest, couldn't even use it. You know, he wished he could have, you know, instead of it being 50, it would have been a few hundred when he finally ran out of bullets. But LA, they're trying to do the same thing. Just like they're going to try to do in San Francisco, just like they're going to try to do in New York, just like they're going to try to do in Boston, just like they're going to try to do in Miami. But it's a very decentralized kind of indirect form of control. So what you do is you identify somebody that is radical enough, extreme enough to go kill somebody else. And once they identify that person, then they empower them. They try to connect them with an imam that can give them the tools or the little bit of maybe like the push off the cliff.
The spiritual backing.
Yeah, we'll call it spiritual backing, but really it's...
The brainwashing.
Yeah. Yeah, the ideological infusion into their soul that they'll go and just kill helpless people, women, children, people dancing in a nightclub, unarmed. So once that decentralized activation goes, then it's kind of like bees or ants with the pheromones, right? It's not like I'm telling a cell in LA, go do this, go kill these guys. I'm saying, all right, here's an opportunity.
We had this conversation earlier. You talked about it. I came in here and repeated it if folks are hearing this the second time. But that's a good allegory. It's like the bees with the pheromones.
Yeah, it was perfect. You definitely hit the nail on the head. They're not coordinated enough. They're connected, but not coordinated. You know, they're not, okay, you do this at this time, let's sync our watches, here we go, 3, 2, 1. You know, it's not to that degree of sophistication like, you know, Army special operations. They wish that they were, but you watch ISIS recruiting videos or their special ops. And,
looks like clowns.
Yeah, clowns in black robes. Yeah, that have mental problems. That's really it is. That is their level of sophistication. I don't want to make jokes.
So what do you expect to happen? I mean, from the intel we're getting, they plan to hit at least 4 or 5 more cities.
Yeah, I was here right after Paris, and I said it's getting going. San Bernardino, same thing. I'm like, don't stop, don't slow down. It is.
2 weeks ago, you said, we can pull the video up. You said they're activating the cells. Get ready. Yeah. Why did you say that? Because I mean, I guess you can't tell us, but the point is that just a hunch or?
I mean, no, it's not a hunch. I can't say, you know, where I'm getting or who's telling me or how I know, but I'm telling you, it's about to get worse. This is not the beginning. You're the quiet professional, so we can't tell you about that. It's like, and it's not like they're knocking on the door. They're through the door. We already let them in. I say we. I didn't let them in.
But good people in the government are tracking them, and that's my point earlier. We know the FBI, federal marshals, in this case, and San Bernardino, and Major Hassan are all ordered to stand down. Why is Obama ordering them to stand down? He'd be a hero if he let them take them out. What's going on there?
So they're being tracked. We know this guy was being tracked in 2013, 2014. We don't know what happened in 2015. He kind of dropped off the radar. Same thing with the San Bernardino guys. Like, they were being tracked, and they said, maybe we'll just leave them alone because we don't want to, you know, seem like we're being prejudiced. But the dogs are being called off. There are guys in the FBI, in the CIA, in the local law enforcement that will go and hook and book these guys because there's enough evidence to say they want to do bad. Are we a nation, though, that just because we think they're going to do something bad, we're going to stop them?
Well, here's the problem. If you pledge allegiance to a foreign power like ISIS, a foreign, says it's its own state,
traitor.
And then they admit a year and a half ago he pledged allegiance, arrest him right then if you have the proof.
He's a traitor. That's it.
He says he's aligned with a foreign power and is intending to go out and, I mean, it's a done deal.
In my mind, absolutely. Not only a done deal in the sense that he should have cuffs and be sitting in a jail, but as a soldier, he's an enemy. I'll bury that guy.
Well, that's the problem. His parents were from Afghanistan. He was a citizen. So overall, we know the danger. But if we have the proof, I mean, what jury isn't going to evict this guy of conspiracy if he says, I pledge allegiance to ISIS? You just pledged allegiance to a group who says its code is to go and kill everybody.
Then his dad says, man, you know, we were walking down the street and he saw him, he saw these 2 guys kiss and he got really mad about it. You know, and maybe that's what set him off. That was a couple of months
Dad's
ago.
making excuses.
Yeah, he is. Absolutely. He is, his dad, who's a Muslim, you know, let this happen. His dad knew that his son had been radicalized. He knew that his son had pledged himself to ISIS. He knew that his son wanted to hurt gays.
Well, let me ask you this then.
And then he let it happen.
Obviously, the frequency is getting more intense. The amount of people getting killed is more intense. What's the metric here? Just your dead reckoning or I mean, America needs this warning. What's the intel on how bad this is going to get? Because I'm no rocket scientist. We bring 5 million into Europe, hundreds of thousands in here. They're suppressing the real number because we've gone and documented every school. And Austin's got like high school where I went. Anderson's 232 people from Syria just this year. Every other high school's hundreds. That's just the high schools. We call the other schools. Yeah, we've got hundreds. They're freaking out. A school of 2,000 has hundreds of people from one country there saying take care of them in Arabic. They're telling girls don't wear short skirts. Everybody's freaking out. The number must be giant, Tim. And so I'm saying if 10% are radical, and the polls 25% say they support suicide bombing, so let's say 25% are radical. Let's say 1% act on that. We're still talking about tens of thousands of combatants here.
Yeah.
So what's the metric? I asked you that same question 2 weeks ago.
And I said, in my mind, there's very few options. There's get them out, kill them, or convert them. Convert, I'm not saying like they...
Can't we just convert them to freedom? What is their problem?
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying they have to be Christian. I'm saying they cannot be the wherever that line is, what radical extreme Islam is, that has to be recognized by the Islam and Muslim community, and that has to be bastardized. It has to be recognized to be a threat to their...
I'll say this. I finally saw the National Islamic Council or whatever on TV halfway apologizing, saying this isn't Islam when this is. So, I mean, they better start really getting their act together.
And that half-assed apology does not doing it. When you're saying it's not Islam, you now have to say this has taken over what Islam was. Islam might have been a beautiful religion. It is no longer that.
Sure, and I'll take you one further. I'm really angry, and I mean physically angry at the left, saying my guns are to blame, veterans are to blame, gun culture's to blame. It's all over the news. Take my guns and then act like I did something so I could be killed by these radical jihadists you're bringing in? I mean, they just killed 50+ of your people who I have nothing against, and then you're blaming me. I mean, this is wrong. This is out of control. Get your basic instincts for survival back. Second hour coming up. Tons of news. Tim Kennedy with us. I'm Alex Jones. Infowars.com. Infowarsstore.com has the Hillary for prison shirts. That criminal's part of Benghazi and back in this whole Islamic invasion. We'll talk about what's happening at the top in 70 seconds. Stay with us. Tim Kennedy, terrorism expert, 15 years Special Forces, part of some of the most secretive elite units out there. And I obviously can't get into all that, but let me tell you, he's the guy to talk about this. He's the guy to break this down, and hopefully, as this unfolds the next few days, we can get some intel or even filed reports from the road. We have Joe Biggs. He's on the ground. He's trying to get to the site of the nightclub shooting, 50+ dead, over 60 wounded. This is a short segment, long segment coming up. Rob Dew's joining us, but you're making other amazing points. Tim, in the last 70 seconds of break, go back to what you were just talking about being in Kuwait 11 days ago. I mean, you're all over the world, and what they admit to you, how they export the terror all over the world.
It was a basic conversation with some of the representatives of the Kuwaiti government that was with us about why there are few instances of terrorism in the Arab Union, countries like Saudi Arabia and Kuwait. And flat out, they said, well, when somebody gets radicalized here, we just export them. What do you mean you just export them? These are Kuwaitis that were raised here in moderate Muslim, and then they get to a point where really liking a religion, but they want to hurt other people that don't like the religion enough. So then you send them somewhere else to go do these dastardly deeds. And they're like, yeah, absolutely, matter of fact. It was just commonplace that they just didn't want it to happen in Kuwait, so they have enough money that they just ship them somewhere else.
Exactly, which then actually spreads their radical form, now the dominant form, regardless of Islam, to take over the world. And that's why you can Google this, Associated Press. Saudi Arabia has not taken one, quote, Syrian refugee. Not one. That's their failed invasion force, where they take their families with them to steal the houses, the swimming pools, and everything else. So they fail, then Turkey brings them in. In fact, we can put that on screen for TV viewers. This is incredible. Tim Kennedy, big picture.
Yeah.
Why is Obama doing this? And I know you work for him. You're still in the military. Why are they doing? I mean, I know this is the big debate in the military.
I don't know why. I think the simple answer is that when we're all looking at one thing, it makes it so easy to do anything else. So if we're all looking at radical Islam, which we should be because they're killing us and they're destroying our way of life, while we do that, it gives them a reason to do all the things that they want to. They try to take our guns. They give us to break into iPhones. Say, oh, the San Bernardino terrorists had an iPhone, so we should be able to have access to all iPhones.
But they ordered the FBI to stand down going after the people.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's it. So they're going to use this attack, just like Europe's already done. We know.
Yeah.
To take the liberties and say, Germans, you can't criticize radical Islam. We're going to arrest you, or Islam, period. We're going to fine you. I mean, our reporters have video. People trying to hand out nationalist flyers, mainline stuff against open borders, are being fined or arrested in Germany.
Well, it's happening here. I have a friend. It's an ongoing investigation, so I don't want to throw him under the bus here. But it's a prior special forces guy that he had. He was a human guy, so he worked human intelligence.